Hey guys, welcome to DevOpsSchool.
In this session, we are going to learn about Confluence. Confluence is a collaboration tool developed by Atlassian. It helps teams to organize, discuss, and collaborate on their work. It can be installed on your desktop or accessed from the cloud, making it a great solution for all types of teams, including remote employees and mobile users. But before we begin, let me inform you a few things about us. DevOpsSchool is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. You can join our all training programs globally through online platforms, and if you're looking for classroom workshop, then we have regular batches available in Hyderabad and Bangalore. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are mentioned in the description below.
So next topic which I'm going to talk about is using Confluence and admin perspective. And after that, we'll get into the user perspective. So I believe some of you got the Confluence setup done in your CentOS box. And I've got mine done. I showed you the demo. So now let's get started and let's start using this one. So now this is the page after the once the installation is done, then you're going to get this is the page. Yeah, tell me. Okay, let me just reshare that.
Yeah, please reshare this.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see.
Great. Okay, so now these are the few things which I'm going to do with it. First thing, step number 1, creating a space. Okay, step number 2, adding users and group. And permissions. Basically, all this thing is coming as part of the authentication and authorization. Authentication again is a one part. Authorization. So these are the topics which I'm going to talk about. Then I'm going to talk about notifications, which is email, SMTP, and related stuff. Now, on the top of this is the step number 2. We will do that. Step number 3, we'll talk about server setting. And followed by step number 4, I'll talk about some of the admin options like adding apps and macros. And then before that, I would like to add one more thing, which is managing spaces. Okay, so this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are the topics more or less I'm going to talk about. So now the question is, first step, it is prompting me to create a space. Now the question is, what is space? So space is basically, you can say, it's like a folder. Okay, and it's like a folder or directory or something like that, and in that you can keep it multiple pages, documents, different files, you can keep it here, files. So all this thing you can keep it. Now once you create a space, inside that you'll have multiple pages, files, different things. Now who should be having access and what label, that you can do through the authentication and authorizations again. Now space, the question is when to create a space. So basically you can create a space as per the project wise also, you can create a space as per the team wise also, you can create a space for the some departments also. So it's classification is completely depends on the depends on you on what way you want to manage these pages, files and stuff like that. So you can create a spaces accordingly. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to create one space for basically this is the team which we are using, the product which is called CTSX. This is the project which we are working together. So I have created a space for this. Continue. Now this is the space and which got created. Now here you have some getting started tutorials. So you should get started if you want to learn more about it. Let's get started. So here you can see meeting notes, you can see all this stuff here, meeting notes, product requirement, decision documents, all these things you can write it. This is just for the learning purpose. You can see that you can add more pages here, you can drag and drop many options, items here and there, you can publish it, that's all. So finally you see that this is all the option which you understood that. Now I'll go to the my space home page, which is here, and you see this is the space home page which got created. Now this space home page, because of getting started, it created some of the dummy data, which is like a goal of your team or project, which are the core team which you are currently working with it, some of the roadmap for some of the work. Here you knowing the space, know your pages and then stuff like that. Here you have a quick navigation, useful links. So this is basically you design this page. Now a little bit of HTML knowledge is very good and very helpful for you. So you have so much of macros which you can be used and learn efficiently. So now if you can edit this page, this page here, this page belong to the CTSX space, but this is the welcome page, you can say. This is a welcome page or home page, or maybe you can say index page. So if you want to design, you can edit this page here, click on edit, and you can do whatever you want here. You can add more options here, and you can see plus icon which you can invite more people. So you can send this URL and you can invite more people to edit. That is also you can do that. Here this is you. Now you can add, you can see there's so much of options are here. Create, what do you want to create? You want to create a blank page, you want to create a blog spot. So all this thing will come a little bit later, but here you see multiple options are there. Okay, so now if you want to modify this page, you can click on that, and here this is the editor which you have, bold, italic, all this thing. I think most of these are the like self-explanatory. We've been using this kind of model a lot every time, so you know that what to do and how to do that. So this is the home page. Now again, these all modules which you can modify. So and finally after the update, after the modification, you can update this. So this is the one of the space, one of the page which is a part of the default space which we created and we interacted with. So now this is the things we talked about the space. So creating a space. Now in the space you can create as many pages, files, keep uploading it, all this stuff, and you can comment also and do rest of the things as well. So now we'll get into the pages, we get into the blogs one by one. We can create a more pages, we can create a more blogs one by one. But right now that's not my priority because that will be done in the user perspective training. So here what I'm doing, creating a space, that is a work of the admin. After that we'll take care of the user training, all this what to do on the space. So now let's talk about the authentication and authorization. Authentication means how to get into Confluence. That's a simple question. How to get into the Confluence. So basically there is a two way. One which in fact many ways are available, but here we'll talk about the Confluence built-in database, which we have selected during the configuration itself. You can also do through the LDAP AD, and you can also do through the Jira. So here this supports authentication supported by Jira also. Now where and all you can find this authentication option. So let me talk about it. Here you find this one setting button in the corner. You see here this setting button which you can find in the corner. Here click on it and click on the general configuration. I think my user password for the admin is admin123. Now here you have a general configuration, and now I would like to go for the user configuration. And third option what you have is manage apps. So right now I'll be more focused on the user management because I'm talking about the authentication, how to get into the Confluence. So for that you have to check this option somewhere in the left side, and that options which you can find it just a second. Unsynced directory user sign up option. This is the one, user sign up option. Little bit of the UI has changed, but this is the options. No, it's not the unsynced from the directory. This is also not there. No, this option has been moved in that case. Let me find it out. Yep. I'm scrolling down, and I can just a second. AD option. That is changed. Just a second. Yeah, security. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So here you see user directories. This is the option which I was talking about. So here you decide how to get into the Confluence. So here in the user directory options, this options using user directory, and here you can select that what options you want to enable. So users should get authenticated to the Confluence. Now you see that this is the first one which we are using, Confluence internal directory. That means all the users and the groups which is being used is from the internal directory that is managed by the S2 database for my scenario. Now you can add a directory here also. Click on it, and here these are the directory which is supported. You see LDAP, internal with the LDAP authentication, crowd, Jira, and again this is the Atlassian legacy also which is there. So all this stuff which you have it. So now this is the user directory, internal, and all the stuff which you have it. So now for time being I'm not going to activate any of these things because LDAP is not available, Jira is not available. So right now the best way to go to that Confluence internal directory which is anyways activated. But yes, if you are using in your organization for your enterprise, you should go for the LDAP or AD, Microsoft Active Directory or LDAP, and then enable this authentication. So this is the first thing, like who should be getting authentication, like who should be logged into the Confluence. Now the question is who should be authorized, who should be authorized to do what? That is the next problem. Like you got access, let's say I can log into the system through LDAP or through Confluence and stuff like that, but what I am having the access, so that can be managed by users, group, and permission, and that options which I am going to talk about it. So now let's first do one thing. Let's create a one dummy user. Let's create a one dummy user. So how can you create a dummy user? So go to the user section which is here, click on it. In fact you can click here, or you can go to this option, user management option, same thing you will come. Now you can find the user, but right now I have come here to add a user. Now add a user, let's say user 1, and I'm adding the name of the user is user1, email address is user1 at the rate of user1.com, and password user1 123 user1 1, 2, 3, and I added this user. Now this user is added, and that remember that who should be authenticated. So here Confluence built-in database is enabled, so this user can access the Confluence. Now let me open this Confluence from the different browser. And now the username was user1 and password was user123. So now I'm using user1, password 123, and sign in. Now you see that I could log in. I could log in and see that all this stuff. Now why I'm able to see this? Because there is some default permissions. Whenever you add something, you get a default permission get added. So right now what I can do, so you can create what? You can look at this user1. I logged in. I don't have a setting button. You can see the right extreme side. I am not the admin, but I have a user permission. So what I can create here, I can be a part of the default space which got created, which is CTS. Because of that, I got whatever the permission I got it because of the default setting. So now coming back to things here, I got a user. Now I am a part of the which group. So let me check that which group I am a part of it. So for that, you have to go to the groups. And here you see these are the groups which got created right now: Confluence administrator group and Confluence user group. Now if you check that who's a part of the Confluence user group, here you see user1 is a part of the Confluence user group, and that because of that I was getting that access. Now you must be wondering how come I got added to the Confluence user group. If you remember this one, users, when you are creating adding a users, here let's say user2 user2 at the rate of user2.com. I'm creating one dummy user one more time, and 123 user2 123. And here the moment you add this one, then there's a default group which get added here. So whenever you create a group, you can set that which is a default group. So this group, you are a part of it by default. So because of that, you got a part of this group. So now when you want to create a more group, let's say I want to create a dev group. I want to create a dev group. So you can create add group, create a dev, save, then you can add a members out here. I have a 2 users, so I can search the user here, user, not find, so back to group. I'm going to add more members. So adding members, click on this user detail, user search, and here I found that all the users selected, now added, and then done. So now my group, which is here, you have a dev, and now which has a 2 users, user1 and user2. Now let me do one thing. Let me disable that access from the Confluence user. You see here, I delete this. I deleted that users which got by default added in the group called Confluence user. So now if you go and refresh and log out login, see, not permitted. So I'm not able to see anything because I have removed him from the users. So this is the way you can add the users, you can manage the group. Now the question is, I have added a group called dev, and I have added in the group there is a 2 members. So how can I assign the permission to the group? So that is been done through the global permission. So if you go here, users group, and after that there's one option which is called global permission. You go to that options, and here you see these are the permission which has been given. So here there's a Confluence administrator can do what? These are the things it can do. What is a Confluence user can do what? So these are the things it can do. So now you can add that group also here. So let me add edit permission. Add a group. So my group name was dev. Here it added, and then I select what I want to you want to get it done. So here what I will do, only I can give the access and use, or personal space you can get it, but you can create a space no, or Confluence admission no. So whatever the based on the user access you will get permission, you will get added. So now this is the one, save all, and now if I refresh, see get a lot of access. It depends on your whatever the access assigned, you get it. So now this way you can add it, you can manage the who can authenticate your system, and how can you what you are supposed to do, authorize, and users, group, permissions, and this is done. So any questions on the authentication module and authorization module? Any questions?
No, Rajesh.
Okay, now next thing is like notifications. So how this Confluence will send an email, notifications, updates, you are following some of the things, some of the contents. So how can you get it notification? So yes, in admin section, let me tell you, there are hundreds of things, but we are not in a kind of mode where we can cover all the topics, but it's only the essentials topic. So here in the notification section, I'm going to talk about how can you set up this SMTP. So you go to the option which is called SMTP somewhere. Let me just look at that. Mail server. Here you see mail server, and here you can set up SMTP and POP, anything. So a POP just to receive that. So in fact, you can create a document through the email also. That is also possible. If you want to create a document, you want to send some update, you want to send some comments through the email also, you can enable the POP. So that way you can send that tools. You don't have to come to these tools to create a pages. You can send that to the particular email IDs, and automatically it will be created. So you have to add a POP. But right now, that's my topic. How Confluence will send an email to the different users. So here you can create SMTP server. Here you provide SMTP details, server host, and all these details, and then submit and get going. So these are the ways in which you can do the authentic notifications also using the SMTP server. Now let me talk about some of the different settings options which you have available. So here you can see the general configuration. You can have a backup administration, languages you can select, some external gadgets you can import, templates you can get it, some mail server you can set it up, user macros you have it here, some spam preventions. So many options are there. Okay, Office connector, web dev configurations, PDF export language supports, users, group, SSO, security configuration. Security configuration, you can set that your user should be having that what kind of password, how much it should be allowed to, sessions should be manage, all these things you can select, modify. Here you can select that themes which every user should be using, color schemes, layout, style sheet, PDF layout, all this stuff you can fill related changes, you can do it here. In terms of grade, you can do that here. Administration, you can see that multiple options are given in terms of mobile apps, collaborative editing, system information, macro uses, backup and restore, mail queue, content indexing. So a hell lot of options has been given. Okay, now the one thing which I would like to talk about is server setting. And server setting, most of the server setting you will find it at this place. Okay, these are the server settings, you will find it. Now let's talk about the managing the space. Okay, so this is the space. How can you manage, how can you create a more space? So space creation is depends on your access level also. So right now I'm the super admin, so you can create a space here. Click on this space. Right now I created one space. Now I can create a more space. You can see the space directory, click on it. Now you can create a space, and here you have a demonstration space. This is for the learning purpose, and this is I created while setting up. So you can, so you see that here these are all spaces here, and site spaces here, personal spaces, my spaces, and archive spaces. So what is the difference between these spaces type actually? So here when you have a site space basically is been created for the team level, like site specific spaces. So where the everyone who's in the having access to the conference can access those site spaces. But yes, you can create your own personal spaces also that belongs to you. And if you want to assign access to some other user, that you also can do that. But personal spaces cannot be used for the entire team. So that's the one thing. My spaces, which is like which currently you have access to, you can see the my spaces. So right now I have only one access, create the one which I created. So that's mine. So now you can create a more spaces. So let's go and create a more spaces here. Create more spaces. See here, space is a home for all of your content. And when I say content, it can be your for the team, project, department. It can keep your documents, files, photos, blogs, many things you can keep it here and create. Now, what kind of space you want to create here? This is the what kind of space you want to create. So here you can create a blank space, personal space, documentation space, knowledge space, team space. Let me tell you here, these are the templates which is given to you to create a space. Is a question? Yeah. Yeah, someone is speaking. I don't know who is speaking. Krishna, would you like to mute yourself? Yeah. So here, managing space. So these are the templates which you have got it. So if you want to create a blank space, you get a complete blank space which you can design yourself. But here, if you want the personal space, this personal space, you can see that you can. It is good for the notes, task lists, and the other organized content. So basically, these are the templates which you have got it by the Atlassian. Now you can create your own template, by the way. So now these 5 templates you can see it coming from the setting button. I'll show this template place where you can design your own templates for the spaces. Go to the look and feel options. Somewhere you see here, look and feel themes, templates should be here. Just a second. Space template. Let me search because there's so many navigations are there. Template, yeah. Here. So global templates and blueprints. Here you see multiple templates are been given. These are the templates which you have. So now many templates you have, blueprints you have. See, these are the space blueprints you have, knowledge base, team space, documentation space. These are the space I was showing you on the on the on the while creating the space. Now let's say you don't want this space to be available over there. So now let me open up the new page, new window. So I'll disable this one. This 3 space. Remember, team space I disabled. Now if I go and try to create a space, here refresh. Now go create a space. Now see only 2 options. Now blank and personal space has come because of this one. System. These are the system. Okay, so you can disable this whichever you like. These are the templates. So these are the space blueprints. Okay, now there are so many blueprints for the pages also. These are the for the pages. You see here, share link blueprint, task report blueprint, project requirement blueprint, meeting notes blueprint. So these are the templates. You can create your own templates, by the way. You can create your own templates. By the way, you can download the many templates from the different places also. So that's also it can be done. So for time being, I have refresh, go create a space, and this time I'll create a one personal space. I'll name it PS, personal space. And this got created. This is the personal space. You can see Rajesh Kumar, personal space you got created. I'll go here one more. Create this time knowledge or documentation space. So now documentation space, I'll give it the name documentation CTX. Okay, now documentation space. You see here. Now You can create one more, team space, knowledge base. These are the templates, very good templates which you can try and create. So now you see that I have created many spaces as admin. One of the spaces I created for myself also, which is Rajesh Kumar, and you can create maximum of one space per user. One user, one space, because you don't need too many personal space for that. So now this is my space, and I can create my own content here. And here you can have a knowledge basis, which is you have it for the knowledge basis. This can be used for the team. Now this you can create for the documentation. So all this thing. Now I'll go to the space directory from here, and now I will check that all spaces. And here you can see these are the spaces which you created, and out of which, if you want to delete the space, click on it, and now go to the here, delete. Okay, this is the space. Just a second. This is not the, this is deleting the page actually. So you have to go to general configuration. There is a one space for space, that is space permission is given, but I want default logo space. Just again, so it should be here only. Page directory. Let's say I want to delete this one, and you have option. No, let me try this one. Okay, yeah. So here, so here you are about to delete this space and two more pages. So I am deleting the pages, and done. Now you have the spaces. Okay, so now the space admins can restore the, so right now I have deleted the space, but still you can restore if you want it. So that is option is also available. So here, this is all about the managing space. So do you have any questions on the managing space? Any questions? Okay, so last topic for this is adding apps and macros. Now let's say you want more feature, and which you are not able to find on the Confluence. Maybe you want to integrate with some other tools. So how to do that? So here there's a two things. If you look at this, I said apps and macros. Now the question is, what is apps? What is a macros? So here, difference between apps and macros, both can be added, but here apps means adding a functionality to a Confluence. Adding a functionality to Confluence. It's a system-wide functionality, you would get it. Here, adding a macros means adding a functionality to the pages. You do the page operation, which we will discuss in the user perspective training. So you do lots of things with the pages also. So if you want to add a macros, if you want the more features on the pages, you will have to add a macros. If you want the system-wide access, you want the system-wide features, then you have to add apps. So now, right now, I'm talking about these apps. Let's talk about it. So go to the apps. Here you have a manage apps or find new apps. So these are the two options which you have it. So let's click on the manage app. So using the manage app, you can find out which are the apps which is already installed by default in Confluence. So right now, it's coming, the list of it. And now you see here, user installed app. There's no user installed app. I have installed it. So basically, I did not install it. So this is a manage app. Nothing is there. So now let me find the app. Now, which app you want to install, you decide. What feature you want, you decide. Here, box for the Confluence, something Google Drives, Giphy, Draw, OneDrive, SAML, Advanced. So many functionality which you have it. And if you look at this one interesting thing, these are the functionality which you are getting. It's a paid one. So you can get this functionality. You can get more apps, but many of these here you find the paid apps only. Very few will find the free. Let's check it out which are the free which you can get it. And right now I am looking for the all free, all category, and let's say Atlassian recently added most requested. No free here. A vendor, unfortunately, you won't. A vendor, yeah, there's a free. Oh, this free trial actually. All free. So there's no free actually. I can see that. In Jira you have many free. Oh yes, there. Now it has come. So here you have these are the things. I don't know. I have not used any of these free add-ons. But again, if you use it, you can go and get it. Some of the paid which we have used it. Again, for that you have to buy $10, $20, and stuff like that, which is very easy to get it as soon as possible. So now let's say I am going to install some of the free one, though I have not used this one, but I'm going to install because it's free to install. I won't have to get a license, this, that, and all stuff like that. I don't have to do that. So this is the way you can add a functionality. Now, how to use it, each add-ons, each apps is completely depends on the developer of the particular app. So you have to get this documentation, you have to read the documentation, and then you have to learn how to use it. And also you have to teach the teams who's going to use this functionality. So you see that these are the description of these the plugins apps which I have installed. These are the features which you have it. Again, these are the related add-ons, more information, gallery, and stuff like that. This is the something table which you'll get it. So basically, this table library for the Bob Swift add-ons. So basically, probably when you use the Bob Swift macros, then the table libraries will be displayed much better way, and some of the calculation will be done like SQL, Excel, stuff like that. So something like that. I've not got into that, but installed it. So now this is the way you can install the apps. So now if you go to the Manage Apps, and here you will find it's taking time. Yeah, here it is. So now this is the way you can also work with adding the functionality of the Confluence. Now when you want to add the functionality to the pages which is a part of the space, then what do you do? Macros. So for that, what I'm going to do, macros, let's find out macro macro, and you see here you see user macros, code configure code macros, and here macro uses some of the administrations options also you have it. See, these are the macros which you have got so far by this Confluence. You can get more macros if you want. So user macro, here you have it. Now create a user macro. Here you can create your own macros, and configure code macros. You can create configure your own code macros. Depends on the different languages and stuff like that supported. So these are the you can also enhance this. This basically will enhance the functionality of the pages. So ultimately, this is the overview of the admin sections which we have planned. So now, as part of this using Confluence admin perspective, we discuss about creating a different types of space. We discuss about what is space, and then we got into the creating the space, deleting the space, and all the stuff like that. Also, you can assign the space permissions to the particular team. So if you go here, look for the space spam, not space. Let me search space. Here, space permission. You can assign the permission to the specific groups who should be doing what. You see, Confluence user can do this. You can add more edit permission, and you can say dev is a group, add it. And now you can decide, okay, whoever is a part of that dev, you should be able to do what here. So these are the things you can do and add and stuff like that. So that way you can manage. Then we discuss about authentication. Then we discuss about authorization, then notification, then some of the server setting, then managing the spaces, and then adding the apps and macros. So this is the typical regular stuff you will do being admin. Being admin, you will do that stuff. But apart from that, other responsibilities which you have, which is like a backup, taking up the backup, having the proper mechanism for the restore, security policies, make sure the security policies is up to date, and performance of the things you have to take care of it. Log management, you have to take care of it. Monitoring, you have to take care of it. It should be up and running all the time. So these are the typical responsibility any admin or any management group will be having and get going. Any questions so far?
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.